welcome back to this terrific Tuesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you today, as we always do, from the Newsmax headquarters, high atop Midtown Manhattan. And to start your week and your September off, let's go downtown to the New York Stock Exchange, give you a little financial update. The tariffs are starting to go into effect. The market does not like it one bit. You also have Goldman Sachs and Boeing dragging the Dow down. The Dow is down today to start September 323 points. Maybe a little sell-off. I know the president has said that and the Chinese have said that they want to come back to the negotiating table with the trade teams. They want to handle it calmly. So I think the market should be in recovery mode very shortly. But be careful today. And with the market down 300, Bitcoin, as it has been lately, is performing to the opposite way. And you have Bitcoin up about $300 today at 10,600. So it seems like that continuation of the flight to safety trade where people are sick of the market. So maybe they go back to Bitcoin a little bit. Market down, Bitcoin up. All good right now because we're back. Our holiday vacation is over. And joining me, I missed him badly, Frank Morano, my co-host, managing editor. Frankie,
thank
happy
you,
Tuesday.
John. It is nice of you to say. I hope you had a pleasant Labor Day. I missed you as well. I must say I did not necessarily miss those spectacles, though, which I watched Liquid Lunch with quite a few people over the weekend, and almost uniformly there were very negative reviews for those particular spectacles.
These spectacles are not being received well, you're saying?
Not in the focus group that I assembled.
Well, I don't really need glasses. So, I mean, someone suggested that
well, are you afraid
I
one of the guests?
So dumb that if I wear these, it would make me look smarter, but I don't really need them.
I thought you were afraid one of the guests was going to hit you, and that's why you put on these glasses.
Yeah, well,
to
who would hit a man with glasses?
Exactly, exactly. Now, John, there must be some mistake because this is a cable news show, and yet we're not talking about the hurricane. I mean, you turn on Fox News, CNN, it's not even raining, and these reporters are acting like they're about to be blown away.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
if you're look, and again, my heart goes out to everybody in the Bahamas, and we're going to talk to John Rourke, who's doing a lot to help people out there. But, I mean, if you're interested in any issue other than the hurricane right now, you're really out of luck.
Well, if you were out of luck the last few days, because Friday we played some reruns of an old show that we did called Table Talk, which launched 3 years ago on this network. And we went to regular people's homes. We asked them to invite some friends over, Democrats and Republicans. Myself and former New York Congressman Vito Fossella sat down with families from all different political takes and heard why people thought Trump won. And the observations, for those of you who watched, I got a ton of emails. Kelly Jordan, Freddie Mac, everybody was emailing me about, hey, what is this Table Talk? It looks great. Many of the observations we made then hold true till today. And if you're sick and tired of hurricane talk, this is the place to be because we're going to be talking about it a little bit today. But Frankie, I'm the same as you. I'm tired of this hurricane stuff. I mean, there's always.
Well, no, I'm not tired of it. If there's news about it, but if it's so, the news all morning long, 24-hour coverage of. The hurricane is still in the Bahamas. That's 24 hours. Oh,
it's frozen.
Yeah,
it's stalled.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right there. It's moving at 1 mile per hour.
Might go to Florida.
At 0 miles per hour.
Might go to Georgia.
Look,
but for now, it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's weather.
Every major cable news network has people scattered all along the East Coast in the Gordon's fisherman outfits, and they're standing on the beach making like they're getting blown in the wind.
I like that.
And basically, the storm hasn't touched land in the U.S.
Yeah. Now we do have, because apparently you lose your license to be a cable news show if you don't include some visuals of a giant hurricane. There you have it, and there you go. That's the hurricane.
Looks like it's going to skid along the coast, and
it looks like more like a 1993 screensaver from what I can see.
When I say I'm tired of it, look, God bless those who were lost and perished.
Absolutely.
And, 5 people are reported dead so far. Many families displaced, and it's a terrible tragedy for the Bahamas. We're here in America, and all we're hearing about is this hurricane that hasn't touched land in the U.S. 5 people were killed in the Bahamas, but not a word was said that 7 people were killed this weekend in Chicago in gun violence and shooting. So, why wall-to-wall coverage of a hurricane that's off the coast of the U.S. and zero coverage in this heightened gun environment? Why not a word about 7 killings in Chicago with guns?
I think that's a fair criticism, John. And, I know we're going to get into this a little bit with both Grant Stinchfield and in the Mix It Up segment, but do you view the issue of gun violence in Chicago and cities like Chicago the same or in a different category than what we've seen in Texas, these random shooters just shooting up places? I mean, ultimately, the result is the same, people being murdered by guns. Is it the same issue or should they be viewed differently?
Well, number one, I think it's a gun issue, right? Mm-hmm. Too many people have access to guns. And, the one in Texas was a semi-automatic. I don't know what kinds of weapons were used in Chicago, but I think this semi-automatic weapons access for regular individuals needs to be addressed. And, also in Alabama, an African-American kid shot 7 people at a high school football game. And we don't hear any word of that, but you have Morning Joke out there talking about how Donald Trump said the hurricane may reach Alabama. So Alabama makes the news to make fun of Trump. But for a shooting where 7 people are injured, Alabama does not make the news because I personally don't think it fits the narrative from the lamestream media.
Well, yeah, you may have a point there, John, and we're going to go to John Rourke in Florida in just a moment. But one bit of breaking news that I want to bring to folks' attention. We've been talking about Brexit as both a political phenomenon and as something that is going to play a role on people's financial portfolios one way or another. And apparently the new Prime Minister of the UK, and this just happened within the last few minutes, Boris Johnson has lost his parliamentary majority. One of the members of parliament that's with the Conservative Party has defected to join Labour. They've crossed the aisle, so this could trigger new elections, and it could potentially be the end of Boris Johnson's prime ministership.
Wow, and that would be a shorter tenure than even Anthony Scaramucci. But let's hope Boris stays in there. Let's hope that they go through with the will of the people. The people voted for Brexit. Let's hope that their politicians there do what the people want.
So John Rourke, who is part of this group, the Traveling Trash Men.
He's the leader. The
group.
He's the leader of the pack.
He's joining us live from Florida right now to give us an update on how conditions are there. John, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you.
So, John, you don't even look like you have an umbrella. How are things down there?
Yeah, it turned out to be a lot of barking, not much bite as far as where we're concerned is located. But for the Bahamas, not so much. The Bahamas is a mess, and we're looking right now to partner with companies like Tropical Shipping and companies like that to get shipping containers loaded up with your basic necessities, get put on barges over there to the affected or as close to the affected areas as we can.
So, Johnny, hey, welcome back to Liquid Lunch. Thanks for joining us in the middle of the storm. Just a few weeks ago, you took a group of guys and you went up to help clean up Baltimore, and that turned out to be a rousing success. I heard you even saved someone's life. Now you're down there in Florida in the middle of a storm and you're trying to put together some relief for the Bahamas. What's driving you down there, man?
So, I live in Jupiter. It's a feeder band right now, actually. This isn't like one of those fake weather reports. This is actually real. We're getting soaked. But, Baltimore was a huge success. We did over 20 tons of garbage in Baltimore. And then just being in Jupiter is pretty much the closest area to the affected area of the Bahamas that you can get in the United States. I've been back and forth to the Bahamas, living down here for a long time. And a lot of my friends and family and people we know go to the Bahamas, every weekend. And it's specifically to those areas. So it's we have the ability to try and do something, so we're going to do it.
Well, keep up the good work, my friend. I know when you were up in Baltimore, a guy was having a drug overdose, and you guys hit him with some Narcan and actually saved a life, right?
Yeah, 2 people within 30 minutes on ground. and 2 people had overdosed right in front of us. A lady came running out of her house and actually had Narcan with her and gave it to us, and 2 of the guys, Joe Revicchio and Clint Scherb, applied the Narcan to them, the nasal spray, and they popped right up. It was pretty crazy. A police officer got shot at 2 hours after that. 11-year-old girl went missing, so it was pretty much an entire day of police activity and cleaning up trash, really.
And so, John, just so folks understand exactly what you're doing with respect to the Bahamas, you have assembled and are assembling a collection of trash cans to be donated to the people of the Bahamas. Is that accurate?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, John. John, you got us there? All right, we may have lost John.
We may be losing Johnny. You with us?
But no, the reason this is important is because it is incredibly expensive to get everyday items, including trash bags, trash cans, to the islands. So what happens when there are no trash cans? People just throw all their garbage right in the middle of the street. And especially when you're dealing with the aftermath of a hurricane cleanup, the last thing you want to see is people throwing all their trash into the street and all over the place. So it's a great thing that Mr. Rourke is doing there.
Absolutely. And this guy keeps reaching into his own pocket. And, you know, he took one of his garbage trucks and a whole team up to Baltimore. And now he's putting together a whole effort for down in the Bahamas. And guy's a true American. And we're going to be true Americans after this quick break and do what we do every day. When we mix it up, we bring on a Democrat and a Republican. And joining us today, returning to the show, are both. On the left, Walter Bragman, independent journalist and holder of a law degree, but not a practicing attorney. And Rich Valdez, the host of This Is America podcast, and a Republican candidate running against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to increase his efforts to make AOC bartend again. You're watching Liquid Lunch. We'll be back in 2 minutes.